Hey guys, this is North back again with another video. Today's video, I'm going to give you an updated top 10 incense-based fragrance list for the year of 2022. This is my second year doing it. I had a number of lists last year. I had like 15 great incense-based fragrances, and then I had a top 10 list. And the last one, which was recorded this month last year, I had a incense November theme where I wore an incense based fragrance every day for the month of November. So I had more than 30 incense based fragrances at the time. Now I don't have nearly as much, but I do still have about 15 to 20 incense-based fragrances left in my collection. I'm going to try to give you my top 10, give you a couple honorable mentions. So let's go ahead and get it going. Number 10 on my list is from the House of Montal, and this one is called Full Incense. Full Incense was released in 2010. It's very similar to Avignon from Comme des Garçons, so I will not mention that fragrance in this list. Some of the notes on it are Somali frankincense, elemi, labdanum, cedar, and patchouli. Every Montal seems to have patchouli in it, but this is a very good incense-based fragrance. If you want a great starting point to get this churchy incense type of feel, if you can't find Avignon, Montal is affordable, smells extremely similar. It's a very good quality incense-based fragrance, but I have it number 10 on the list, so it did make the top 10. This is one of the few Montals that I would love to just continue to keep in my collection. Moving on. Number 9 on the list is from the Armani Prive line, and this one is Bowls d'Encens. Bowls d'Encens is one of my first Armani Prive fragrances. It's one of the first incense-based fragrances that I got. It was released in 2004, so this one's an OG. Avignon, I believe, was released in 2002. This one is just woods. It has incense, vetiver, and precious woods. Those are some of the notes. This one is a beautiful, extremely dry, woody scent. There really isn't too much to it. It isn't that exciting, but it is definitely like a base, a starting point, much like Full Incense or Avignon, to go on a incense-based fragrance journey. Let's keep it moving. Number 8 on the list is from the House of Abdul Samad Al Quraishi, and this one just has to be my favorite fragrance that I picked up from the house, just in general. I mean, I have like some oils, what they call attars, even though attar in Arabic means perfume. But this is my favorite alcohol-based like fragrance in general from the house. It's very slept on, and this one is brown incense. Ferucia brown incense, it says. But there's 4 of them in the line: black incense, pink incense, and white incense. Black incense was the most popular one that if you look on YouTube, you'll see people talking about it. And this one is extremely good. It's way better than black incense to me, in my opinion. And what I try to do with this list is just try not to make the list full of only incense-based fragrances that have this churchy incense type of feel. And this one just smells like just Bukur incense. It just smells like the type of incense that you would buy that has just different facets to it. It's not heavily influenced by like frankincense or anything like that. Some of the notes that it lists that it has is oud, orris, cedarwood, star anise. I'm not sure about the official note list. This is what I got from the website, but to me, this is my favorite fragrance from the house. Way better than anything else that you can find as far as what people are talking about online. This one's super slept on. It is one of my favorite incense Bukur based fragrances. It's very potent and very strong, and if you want to get something that smells a little bit smoky, smells like incense but doesn't smell like church incense, this is one to pick up, and it's extremely affordable, especially if you get it on the 50% off deal, which they're always running. Keep it moving. Number 7 on the list is a fragrance that had been on my wish list for some time. Ever since I got into incense-based fragrances and I saw Dimitri's signature scent, I saw his list. So a lot of the things that I have were basically came from the list that he provided, like Bose d'Encens. This one I'm going to mention, and maybe a couple more, and that one is Dies Aurore. I'm very happy that the guy that I know here picked up a number of 50 ml bottles, that he did not get the 100 ml bottles, because these are much more affordable. As I've mentioned before, I don't need 100 ml in anything. And Dies Aurore was released in 2019. Some of the notes on it are elemi, hazelwood, almond, pistachio, caramel, incense, beeswax, honey, and tonka bean. It also has vanilla and sandalwood. So this is what I would consider a gourmand incense-based fragrance. It's sweet. It's not just straight gourmand. It's more incense than anything. But it has just like the sweetness to it. It has a very cool like backstory as to how he came up with the scent. Hopefully one day I'll just do a single review on it in the near future. So we'll see. But right now it's at number 7 on my incense-based list. Let's keep it moving. Number 6 on my list is from the house of Rochester Parfum, and this one is Incense Asakusa. This is another fragrance that I feel like is the best from the line. I only have one other one, Ombre Cello, which was released last year. This one was released in 2017. Some of the notes on it are iris, frankincense, white musk, myrrh, and cypress. And this one is just a powdery incense-based fragrance. I don't think that it is. It's more like irisy and incense. It has a little bit of like cypress, like piney type of feel to it, but not as much as one that I'll mention a little bit later in the list. But to me, this is definitely the best one from the brand. It's a very good incense-based fragrance. I really love this one. This is one that I will be keeping in my collection. So let's keep it moving. Number 5 on the list is a fragrance that I had to blind buy at the time, and it was a very successful blind buy. And this one is from the house of Atelier Désert, and this is Mer de Desert. This one I picked up just based off of the name. I did want to get one of these with these gold flakes in it, even though I'm a little over it now. But this is a very good incense-based fragrance. It was released in 2015. Notes on it are incense, cypress, cedar, benzoin, and citruses. So when I very first smelled this, the first thing that it reminded me of, which I was not aware when I did buy it, I just got it based off the name and based off the notes and my own leaning towards wanting to have incense-based fragrances. And it reminds me a lot of Tom Ford Sahar Noir. Sahar Noir is like a holy grail discontinued fragrance. It's definitely a holy grail incense-based fragrance, and this one is strikingly similar to it. They are not exactly the same. Sahar Noir is a little bit sweeter. They're both dry incense-based fragrances, but I believe Sahar Noir has beeswax in it, and that's like the biggest difference. But on the dry down, they're very, very similar. So if you want to pick up something that smells quite similar to Sahar Noir, I'm not going to say it's a clone, but it's very, very close. Pick up Larmes de Desert. Moving on. Number 4 on my list is a fragrance that I just have to keep in my top 5, just because it is, again, the best realistic smelling representation of unburnt fragrances on the market. You know, I've tried Sultanate of Oman from Roger Parfums. I'll try it again to see if it's even just a good fragrance in general, but nothing comes close to this from the house of Diptyque, and this is Trois, so 3 waters. This is, again, the most realistic representation of unburnt frankincense in a fragrance. Some of the notes on it are myrrh, labdanum, incense, rosemary. This is, when you burn frankincense, it has like a carnivorous feel, piney, almost lemony type of smell to it, and that's what you get from this fragrance. If you can see The atomizer on here, it was white, but because of like the deep color in it, it's turned brown. This is an absolute love for me. I thought it was only available at the Diptyque boutiques, but I saw on somebody's story they were like in San Francisco at the Diptyque boutique, and I saw it there. I saw it in the video there, so it can be got, but this one has to be in my top 5. I absolutely love frankincense. I burn it almost every day in my house. So it's got to stay in my top 5. If you haven't smelled this and you just have some fragrances with you, you can smell the bag of it and smell this, and they're just strikingly similar. This one's awesome. Moving on. Number 3 on my list is from the house of Tom Ford. I do try to make these lists with keeping in mind that, you know, a lot of fragrances are discontinued, and I just want to come up with lists of like fragrances where people can, you know, readily find them. But this one, which is Vert d'Incense, green incense, this one is still easy to find, even though it's discontinued, and it's not going for just stupid prices. And this is one of my all-time favorite incense-based fragrances. It's extremely unique. This one was released in 2016. It has incense, pine resins, fir balsam, heliotrope, and woods. This one is a balsamic, like coniferous, piney smelling incense, and a little bit of like powderiness to it, but it's definitely, it's very green. Like the name of it, green incense, fits this to a T. It's just a very beautiful scent. It's one that is slept on as far as discontinued Tom Ford fragrances are concerned. So if you're able to at least smell it or get your nose on it, I would suggest it. Vert d'Incense. All right, the top 2, and I'm kind of doing something similar than I did last year, and that's putting something that I most recently picked up at the top of my list, but I just think this is a very elegant incense-based fragrance, especially for the price. I mean, I got a tester bottle of it, and this one is from the house of Bvlgari, and this one is called Kobraa. So Kobraa was like sold out almost everywhere, but I knew one spot that had a tester bottle of it. So I went on ahead and picked it up so I can go ahead and have it in the collection. Even though it is a 100 ml bottle, I don't know how I'll get through all of that. But Kobraa was released in 2020. This one only has 3 notes listed: geranium, frankincense, and oud. And this one is almost like that geranium gives you like a rose type feel with the frankincense, with the incense in it. And it's just a very, it's probably like almost like the most elegant incense-based fragrance that I've smelled. The names don't give you any indication of what the fragrance might smell like as far as this line is concerned, but it's just one that I had to have. I thought that I was like over incense fragrances until I picked up this one and one other I'll mention at the end after I mention number 1. So let's move on to number 1. Number 1 on my list is from the house of Stéphane Humbert Lucas, and this one is called Oumma. Oumma is number 1 on my list because it was one of the most expensive fragrances that I purchased at the time, but it was something that I smelled and it reminded me of Mahmoul Bakur. So that's a specific name of an incense that you can buy here and in the Middle East. It just has like this powdery, woody type of smell, and it's very distinct. It's almost like white musk. When you smell like white musk from different places, people have different mahmoul and they smell similar with slight differences. And this is the first fragrance that I smelled that encapsulated that smell into a fragrance. So again, as I said at the beginning, I tried to put some fragrances on the list that aren't just this churchy incense type of feel, and Oumma is that. Oumma just smells like, again, this incense called Mahmoul, and it smells exactly like it. This one was released in 2013. The notes in it are rose, jasmine, Tolu balsam, Peru balsam, oud, and Cade oils. Those are some of the notes. So oud, again, it's just like this powdery, it's just mostly powdery. It's balsamic. It has maybe I think it has Nagamartha and Cade oil in it. Maybe that's where the powderiness from it is coming. And maybe a little bit of rose in it. It's hard to describe. Like I said, it just smells like that one thing to me, and that's what I love most about it. So it is an incense-based fragrance. It's just not this church incense-based fragrance that sort of I at least was put into this box of thinking that incense, if I want to have this list or want to go for something that smells like incense, that I have to go for something like that. This one is my number one. I absolutely love this scent. It's something that I have to keep in my collection. I don't know if I would repurchase it, because even though I got it at a discount, at the time it was very expensive for me. And plus, I don't wear it that often, but it is a beautiful scent. Nobody's gonna smell like you, and that's pretty much it. So that's my list. Those are my top 10 incense-based fragrances for this year of 2022. I do want to mention 2 others that aren't on the list for various reasons. The first one I want to mention is from the house of Parfumum Roma, and this lets you know how much I'm into incense-based fragrances. The first one I ever got, I got the 15 ml bottle, and this one is called Olibanum. Olibanum is like the scientific name for frankincense, and Al-Luban is the name of frankincense in Arabic. So this one I got was released in 2006. Notes in it are incense, myrrh, sandalwood, and orange blossom. And to me, this is just basically incense, frankincense, and like milky sandalwood. It's a very good fragrance. I don't know if I would purchase a full bottle of it. If my guy, he seems to travel, the guy here, he seems to travel a lot to purchase fragrances that sell in his shop. If he ever gets Parfumum Roma in his shop, I may try to pick up a bottle of it. It is quite good. All of them, their longevity is very good on it. I do like it. If I had a full bottle of it, maybe it definitely would be on like my top 10 list. I like it, but I haven't worn it a lot because I don't really want to go through this whole bottle. I want to wait till it gets a little bit cooler because I got it in the summertime. The last fragrance I want to mention is the Dawn, or Al Fajr. So let me just show you the bottle. This one is Dawn, 50 ml bottle. And again, this is by far the most expensive fragrance that I've ever purchased in my life. I'm still hurting from it, but I just felt like I had to have it, and this is why on the previous video I talked about how I sold my 2 other 100 ml Frederick Malls so that I can make way for this one. This is a very elite incense-based fragrance. Again, this is elegant as well. Elegant, sort of like Kobraa. It is a churchy incense type of feel. Some of the notes on it are Turkish rose, pink pepper, frankincense, oud, labdanum, and oak moss. This one was released in 2018. The Dawn is just an elite incense-based fragrance, period. I didn't want to put it on my top 10. I just felt, just me personally, I felt like it would be kind of a little bit irresponsible for me, because I don't want to put it out there that if you want to have the, smell the best, because everything is subjective, that you have to go and you have to spend $600-700 on a 50 ml or 100 ml fragrance, which you don't have to. So I just want to mention it because it is a very good incense-based fragrance, and that is sort of like my particular sort of like niche within the community. I just love them. I always want to smell them, and I'm always drawn to them. So this was one that I really wanted to have in my collection, and so I picked it up. But I didn't want to put it on the top 10 list because to me it's for my pockets, I'm not rich. It is almost unattainable. So I didn't want to put it on the top 10 list for that reason. And that's pretty much it, guys. What are some of your favorite incense-based fragrances? Let me know if you've smelled any of these. Let me know if you've gotten your nose on the Dawn. Let me know if you've tried any of the ones that I've mentioned. Have you tried Oumma? Some people consider it a rose oud. I don't consider it that at all, and I've told you why. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, do you like incense-based fragrances? Some people say they don't even want to smell like incense, but I love it. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.